Hey, this is Untitled Cichlids and more. We're going to look at an amazing video I think many of you will enjoy. This video is African Cichlid Peacock colors, so stay tuned for this amazing video. You'll enjoy it. So this video is mostly about the amazing colors of these Peacock Cichlids. You're going to get some great footage. I'm going to give you some suggestions about how I have this set up. Now, some of you have peacocks for years and probably do even a better job than I do. These are just my suggestions from what I've learned in case you want to know my perspective on it, because I always like to hear what other people's perspective is on how to take care of their fish. And it allows me to try different things and learn from other people's experiences. So basically this aquarium is full of male peacock cichlids. There's a few females in here, and it's not really an issue. We've got, plenty of dragon bloods in here. I've actually added around 6 dragon bloods since my last video on this aquarium. They seem to be adjusting just fine. They were actually put in here today. Now they're not fully colored up, even though those dragon bloods have a lot of color. They're not even fully colored up yet. Now I'll be getting some close-up shots of all of the fish here soon. They got some amazing color right now. So what's the key to success in this aquarium? To some of you it may be a shock. Having plenty of male peacock cichlids. You would think maybe 15 would work. In this instance I have at least 25 males. Well, actually, since I've added 6 more males today, it's around over 30 plus. So this allows the aggression to be kind of minimized for each fish. They flare up at each fish and then they get wore out. So they don't actually pick on one fish and beat it up. Occasionally there's a torn fin, but it heals up. Now this one right here you see at the top there, it's got a torn fin. Basically that was done before he was put in this aquarium, so it's going to take a while to heal up. It can take several weeks for a torn fin to heal up. Let me give me a little zoom in on that one. Let's see if it'll come out. There you see the torn fin. Those torn fins can take up to a couple of weeks. Don't fret. They will look just as amazing as before. Usually no side effects to injury. It's sort of like when we get a cut. It hurts, we have a scab, itches, but eventually it heals up just fine. And there's no scar. Now in this aquarium I have a lot of, red shoulders type fish. I have dragon bloods, and I also have a few OBs. Now one thing I want to mention, I'm going to be mentioning in all my peacock videos in the near future, is just take it from me, make sure you don't feed your peacock cichlids floating cichlid pellets. Now some of you may disagree. You're like, oh my gosh, I've used floating cichlid pellets for years and there's no issues. Well, my channel is Untitled Cichlids and more. And frontoses can get bloat from floating cichlid pellets. Well, the reason they can get bloat, when they're floating, the pellets, they can actually have air in them. The pellets have air in them. That's why they float. They have pockets of air in them. And even though they may not be detrimental, where your peacocks will die, they really have a hard effect on them as well. They'll have hours, maybe even days of digestive problems, and it'll keep them from growing as fast, and they'll definitely be more stressed if every time they eat the floating cichlid pellets they have a difficult time of digesting them because of the air in their stomach. So just take it from me, a suggestion is do not use floating cichlid pellets. Now what have I been using for food here recently? A sinking pellet from Ken's Fish, which is economical if you have a lot of fish, and it has brine shrimp in them. There's a lot of good sinking pellets out there. It's just a suggestion that I use that. It's economical, you know, easy to get from most people. But make sure you use a sinking pellet, cichlid pellet, and your fish will do much better. Now the reason I had thought that the floating pellet was better for peacocks for so long is because it's less likely to get sucked into the filter before it getting eaten. But now that I use a mat and filtration system, which I'll show you real quickly. Over here. This big mat, it keeps really basically the pellets from getting sucked up into it. So there's no problems of the fish getting all the food, gobbling it up, and so the waste is minimum. Look at these amazing colors on these fish. Now if you look behind the peacocks, I do have caves back there. If any fish are having problems, there's places for them to hide at. They do very well when they have a place to hide. Keeps them from getting beat up. So I always suggest having some type of hiding spots for your Peacock Cichlids if you want to do a setup like this. Also, as far as the substrate, I use a pH buffering coral sand. Does better than the crushed coral. This is actual sand. It's from coral, but it's sand and not the big chunks. So the food and waste is kind of blown away from the sand and into the filtration system, as well as the sifting is so much better in sand than it is with like gravel-like substances of the coral organite. If you're going to have a setup like this, you might want to think about breeding. It's easier to have this number of fish if you're breeding them. You can add slowly at different sizes. I have in the past, no issues. But it's good to start off with 25 at one time. Now it can be expensive, that's why I suggested that breeding may be an option to do when having a setup like this to get the Peacock Cichlid colors. Now you see these amazing colors on these fish, and actually some of them are not even fully colored up. Like the dragon bloods are not fully colored up. A lot of the red shoulders are not colored up. The OBs are actually just starting to color up. They're looking really good. So just remember, have patience, learn from your experiences, and start off with at least 25 of these peacocks. You'll enjoy the colors, the constant activity. It's a very non-boring aquarium. You'll never get tired of it. You'll enjoy it for years to come. And so will your friends and family. Make sure you check out this Peacock Cichlid colors in your own home one day with your own setup. Thanks again for watching Frontosa, Cichlids, and more.